Sutra, in Buddhist context, when this mentions the sutra, it has several connotations. So we are citing the sutra from which you find included in this text, Sutra, Salistamba Sutra, Rice Seedling Sutra, in Tibetan, Sarujangbe Do. And so here we hear the word sutra, and it has several connotations. Generally, in the context of the Indian traditions, not necessarily confined to Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism. Generally speaking, sutra means they say the very standard, the teachings of renowned teachers. This is sutra in general. Now, in Buddhist context, sutra has three connotations. One, sutra referring to the Buddha's teachings in general. Buddha's teachings in as opposed to the teachings of the other Indian masters and Tibetan masters and any other masters other than the Buddha. So the teachings are classified in two groups, the Buddha's teachings and the others' teachings. So Buddha's teachings are referred to as sutras. This is one understanding. Then another understanding is that the sutra in the context of the three baskets, meaning tripitak, three baskets, meaning that all the teachings of Buddha are classified into three categories. In terms of subject matter, the teachings meant to help us train in our say the ethics, physical, the verbal, mainly physical and verbal ethics, and then the teachings of the Buddha given to train the meditative concentration. Two, other teachings meant to train our samadhi, the wisdom. Three. So, Vinaya, Sutra, and Prajna. So Vinaya, Sutra, Abhidhamma. In terms of the subject matter, we say the ethics, samadhi, and the wisdom. In terms of the subject matter, these three things are to be. These three things are what we have to be trained. Three things, three trainings, and these three trainings are taught in the three teachings, referred to as the three baskets: Vinaya, Sutra, and Abhidhamma. So Vinaya, which primarily teaches on the ethics, and the Sutra primarily teaches on the meditative concentration, samadhi, and Abhidhamma primarily teaches on the wisdom. So therefore here we see that within the Buddha's own teachings, again there's one class, when classified in three, the second one is known as Sutra. So Sutra in the context of the three baskets, and Sutra in the context of the Buddha's teaching in general. And then there is the Sutra as opposed to Tantra. Sutra as opposed to Tantra. And here when we say the Salistamba Sutra, this is primarily in the context of the Buddha's teachings. So here the Buddha taught that whosoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma, and whosoever sees the Dharma will see the Buddha. And then the Buddha went on to say, because this exists, that exists. Because this is produced, that is produced. Then the Buddha again went on to say, because of ignorance, the karma is created, because of which the consciousness appears or arises, and because of which the name and form arises, the sources, the contact, the feelings, attachment, grasping, becoming, birth, aging and death, and the heap of miseries and bewilderment they arise. Then the Buddha went on to say, when the ignorance ceases, the karma ceases. When the karma ceases, the consciousness ceases. When the consciousness ceases, name and form ceases. When the name and form ceases, senses ceases, sense sources. When it ceases, the contact ceases. When it ceases, the feeling ceases, the grasping, the attachment ceases, grasping ceases, and the birth ceases. Then the aging and death ceases, and because of which the heap of miseries and the bewilderment cease. So that's what the Buddha taught. So from this, we see that if you look at our life, we see that there's some people extremely happy, some people extremely unhappy, some people are wealthy, some people are suffering, some people suffer from poverty, some people are very educated, extremely brilliant, some are not so intelligent, and some are not so wise. You know how they are not wise? Right? Say somebody who did law, LLB, LLM from Cambridge University. Cambridge in England. Cambridge is one of the most renowned universities in the world. And that person was with me, and what the person did was look at the intelligence. What the person did was that, say it was the peak of the heat in Delhi, and that we needed cold water to drink, and there's no cold water available. So the person first of all, put whatever little the tap water, not tap water, filter water we get, the person put it in the flask, thermos with the high insulation quality in the thermos to keep it cool. Then to cool it further, put it in the fridge. Smart, not smart, very smart. Right? So first of all, put in the thermos so that the external heat will not heat it up. And then further put it in the fridge. The thermos put in the fridge. So that it will be even cooler. Ilengo, it doesn't make sense? Why not? It's amazing. Why not?
Because the insulation will not allow the refrigerator to.
Exactly. And this person is from Cambridge University, who did law. LLB, LLM, both. You're getting it? So what I'm saying is that this is where we see that some are intelligent and some are not so intelligent. And some are kind, some are not so kind. And some are happy, some are not so happy. And so this is the variety that we see in the world. And these are all the results of their respective courses. These are all the results of the respective courses. And Buddha came not to indoctrinate us, not to give us a doctrine, but he came to share with us what he has discovered. The reality that the Buddha discovered is what he came to share with us. And we should be wise enough. For example, if I say that, okay, in my hand, I say, I need the paper to write something on. I need paper. And somebody will come and then, is here, these are all the papers, these are all free papers. No, I don't see that, right? This is not paper. So how will you prove that it's a paper? Because the Buddha said it, this is paper? This is samsara. How do you do? So you say paper here, you have the paper here, you can write it on this. No, this is not a paper. So how will you prove? Buddha said this is paper? Or God said this is paper? Yes, you can write. And this is something which is so obvious. We don't need reasons. We don't need to quote the Buddha. We don't need to quote the Buddha, the God, Lord Jesus Christ, or Ram, or Prophet Muhammad. We don't need to quote anybody. This reality is so obvious. So the reality is what the Buddha discovered. Some are very obvious realities, known as the evident phenomena. We don't need any reasons to prove them. This is all. For example, we all had breakfast, nice breakfast, and we are in Tushita. We don't need to prove that we are in Tushita. So it's so obvious. And there's another class of phenomena which requires reasons. Reasons, for example, like E equals MC square. E equals MC square, or because it is true because Einstein said it. No. You have to evaluate this. Einstein said it, but simply because Einstein said it doesn't mean that it's true. This we don't require the testimony of somebody else's authority. But for example, the Buddha taught emptiness. Oh, emptiness, I pray to emptiness. Buddha taught it. No matter how many times, 100,000 times, for 50 years, you say this, you will never discover emptiness. If you want to discover emptiness, which the Buddha taught, what should we do? Only way by which to understand, get emptiness is you have to study it, reflect on it, meditate on it. Quantum physics, relativity theory. Don't pray to Buddha, right? Don't pray to Niels Bohr. Om Niels Bohr Hum, Om Niels Bohr Hum, Don't recite this mantra for 150 years, 60 years, so that I can understand quantum mechanics. You will never understand quantum mechanics, no matter how many times you recite Niels Bohr Hum. Right? You will never realize the quantum physics. You have to study quantum physics. And no exception with emptiness, study of emptiness, to unravel the reality that everything is like a dream. So it's for this reason that the Buddha emphasized so much on the study, reflection, and then meditation. These are in this is a sequence. Study, reflect, reflection, and then meditation. So this is what we need to remember. Particularly, I would say that they having met with His Holiness, number one, having met with the Buddha's teachings, having met with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then meeting with these teachings, Bodhisattva Shantideva's texts. We have to make sure that in the future lifetimes we don't follow blindly. Not only in this life, in the future lifetimes also, we don't follow blindly. We follow only out of reasons and the faith given rise to by the reasons. Faith grounded on the reasons. If that is missing, your faith can be shaken anytime. So therefore, this is so important. It's for this reason that the Buddha taught that whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma. Whosoever sees the dharma will see the Buddha. Because this exists, that exists. Because this is produced, that is produced. Because of ignorance, the karma arises, because of which the consciousness arises, and so forth. And the whole 12, the cycle of the 12 dependent origination enumerated. And because the ignorance ceases, when the ignorance stops, then your karma stops, because of which the consciousness stops, and all the miseries will stop. So oftentimes, some people, without having the proper understanding, they say, oh, Buddha taught everything is impermanent. This is also too naive. And some people say, well, Buddhism is all about suffering, suffering, suffering. In Buddhism, it's all about suffering. This is also too naive. And some people, they even say that the Buddha taught that everything is dukkha, everything is suffering. This is total naivety. So Buddha taught only composite things are impermanent. Not all phenomena are impermanent. Composite things are impermanent. Number one. Number two, not everything is suffering. Only contaminated things are suffering. When your mind is contaminated, then suffering manifests. When your mind is uncontaminated, then the happiness, joy, happiness will manifest. So, this is what, if you want happiness, then let happiness be manifested by introducing the causal factors, the causes of happiness. If you don't want suffering, close the chapter of the causes of the miseries. So what are the causes of miseries? So for this we have to know dependent origination. By dependence on the causes of the miseries, miseries will ensue. Even though you don't like it, you have to bear the consequences in the form of miseries. Whereas you want happiness, embrace the causes of happiness, and happiness will arise invariably. So this is the law of nature. This is not dictated by the Buddha. This is what the Buddha discovered. So anybody who teaches against the law of nature, so this is something that people, they follow. Oftentimes people follow blindly. This is the point when many can go haywire, becoming religious fundamentalists or fanatics. This is the problem. So therefore, the point is that this sutra, which is included here, you can read it later on. Salisambha Sutra is included in this book. So there, whoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma, and whoever sees the Dharma will see the Buddha. When they say, will see the Buddha, doesn't mean that you will see me. This is not a connotation. It means that you will become Buddha. You will become Buddha. Whoever sees, you see dependent origination, the functionalities of the world, so interconnected, but dependent on the respective causes. If you see it so well, then you will see the reality of the Dharma. Dharma explained in the context of, in the text, context of nirvana, in the context of the Eightfold Noble Path, and so forth. You will have the path, very clear path of the Eightfold Noble Path, and also on that basis you will attain nirvana, and then this will take you to further into Buddhahood. So this meaning of whoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma, and whoever sees the Dharma will see the Buddha. So this dependent origination, of course, we'll study in more detail later on in the course of this. This starts with the main text, chapter 9. And then the Buddha taught, because this exists, that exists, because this is produced, that is produced, because of ignorance, the karma arises, because of which the consciousness arises. So this part of the teaching of the Buddha is what Arya Sangha, so well presented in the form of what is known as the three conditions. So these are the basic skeletons of the teachings of Buddha. So what are the three conditions? First, the condition, the unwavering condition. Number one, unwavering condition. Number two, the condition of impermanence. Number three, the condition of potentiality. Number one, unwavering condition. Number two, the condition of impermanence. Number three, the condition of potentiality. Three. So, when the Buddha taught, because this exists, that exists, meaning that all what we're going through, all the experiences that we go through, that exists, that should necessarily come into being by the respective cause, by a cause. There must be a cause. Nothing can arise causelessly. There must be a cause. So the first condition, unwavering cause, meaning that they say undeniably, any result should necessarily have a preceding cause. Number one, no causeless production is possible. If something goes wrong with you, or something goes wrong with somebody else, the person is very angry, short-tempered, or they say whatever, and your job, particularly following the Bodhisattva path, your job is, okay, this person is very angry, okay, now don't come to me, don't ever show your face to me. Instead of that, there must be a reason for this person to be angry. And the true nature of this person is so pure, so compassionate, full of wisdom, but this person has the element of anger today, element of anger in this life. There must be a reason. What's the reason? So, dependent origination. You explore this reason. It's not that, okay, the Buddha has created this person as the short-tempered person, or the God created this person as a short-tempered person. No, there's a reason. There must be a reason there. There must be a causal reason. There must be respective causes. Without the causes, these things will never happen. The true nature of the person, the true nature of every person is so pure, And don't just believe in this. This is reality that we have to discover. That everybody, the true nature is so pure, is amazingly pure. To the extent that whatever situation arises, your mind just feels the blissful, ecstatic feeling of the purity. You can feel that. And this is to be discovered. Don't just believe in somebody. This is to be discovered. And if you want to know more about this part, that, okay, I too have a Buddha nature, a seed of perfection. If you want to study more on this, you want to explore more, the text is composed by Aranagarjuna, and you'll find it in this book. It's included in this book again. So this is a big treasure. And the title is the Dharmadhatu Stava. The title of the text is a short text, Dharmadhatu Stava, in praise of Dharmadhatu. So here the Dharmadhatu refers to your potential of perfection, and it's included in this book, Dharmadhatu Stava. You can study this, and of course you require somebody to help you to explain it. You can read it, you can partly understand it, but to understand it fully, you need help of some teachers to guide you. Okay, so the first one, because this exists, that exists, is indicative of the first condition, unwavering condition, indicating that any result, any experience should necessarily be caused, be created, or be caused by a specific cause. It is not causelessly produced, number one. Number two, that because this is produced, that is produced. This referring to the cause. When the cause is produced, then the effect is produced. Because this is produced, that is produced. Meaning that indicating the condition of impermanence, saying that not only the results should be created by the cause, there should be the presence of the cause there, but the cause that exists should necessarily be impermanent in nature. No permanent cause can give rise to a result. In other words, the cause which is responsible for giving rise to the result, the cause must be impermanent in nature. It must be changing. It cannot be a permanent cause, because there are many people who believe in some permanent agent responsible for all experiences. So the thing is that the cause too must be impermanent. And all these teachings the Buddha gave, they are not to challenge the other traditions. It is for your well-being. It is for my well-being. It is for the well-being of all the sentient beings. Simply by knowing these things, and if you do see that these teachings make total sense and they are contradictory to many of the other existing traditions, doesn't mean that you have to go and fight with other traditions. Respect what they are following, and many people have benefited out of the other tradition, other teachings. Just respect that, and for you, that this makes sense, so therefore I follow this. That's it. For example, look at the Buddha himself. When he was Prince Siddhartha, before he became enlightened, he sought the help of two teachers. And he did not say that, okay, this is my teacher's tradition. He did not stick to it. Finally, I'm looking for the purpose. The purpose to help all the sentient beings. And these two teachers could not help this Prince Siddhartha. These two teachers, in terms of the meditative experience, these two teachers raised such a high level of meditative experience. The first one, Acharya Alari Kalam, who attained the meditative state of the vacuum of the formless realm. And whereas the second teacher Udrega, he reached the level of the peak of existence of the formless realm. Such a high level of the meditative experience. But Prince Siddhartha, he was not happy with that, in ways that just by having this, reaching the same level as the teacher, did not really allow him to have the provision to help all the sentient beings. So therefore, then he looked for another solution. So this should be our approach. Not to fight, not to challenge, not to be so dogmatic with your tradition. Only things for your own well-being, for your well-being, and for the well-being of your family members, for the well-being of all the sentient beings. And then some people who stick to some of the traditions, and if they are feeling better, you rejoice, respect that. No need to fight. So For us, we try to learn what is good for you. So with this in mind, the unwavering condition and the condition impermanence, and the third one was the third one. Condition of potentiality, which means that if you want to enjoy mangoes, don't plant apple seeds. Apple seeds are the cause. Apple seeds are the causes, and not only the causes, they're also impermanent. But the cause and the result, these two should be compatible. If you want if you want to enjoy mangoes, plant mango seeds, not apple seeds. Planting apple seeds and expecting mangoes to grow. This is unrealistic. You fail to understand the third condition of potentiality. By understanding the condition of potentiality, you should know that if you want happiness, don't go into the causes of the miseries. Because the causes of miseries like contaminated karmas and the afflictions, they are in the contradiction with they are incompatible with the happiness that you were seeking, fearlessness. Fearlessness, technically referred to as nirvana, and infinite happiness, technically referred to as Buddhahood. You're getting it? So when you say the fearlessness, okay, how many of you when the 2009, 2020, you remember what year was that? That year was marked by COVID. Say, how many of you were so scared? How many of you had that experience of the feeling of uncertainty of life? 2020? Yes, young and there. Okay, two. And how many of you had? You forgot? Yes, sometimes this is a problem. You're getting it? Sometimes it's a problem. Okay, Nishok? You felt that? Feeling of uncertainty? You feel the uncertainty of life. Right? Very scary. Extremely scary. Okay, how many of you still feel the what? The tinge of the trauma of that. Just to think of that the seed or the imprint is activated in your mind. So very scary. Feeling of uncertainty. So all these, they have their respective causes. And the feeling of happiness, also they have their respective causes. So, if they say the fear, and how many like to have the fearlessness, right? Some people, they're too naive, right? What is meant by fear? So when you think about going back to 2020, then you understand what fear means. Feeling of uncertainty, so much of fear, people going to depression, anxiety. Okay, so how many of you want to get away from fears of life? Raise hands. Okay, and tell me, fearlessness. Who is that who likes to have the fearlessness? The boys or the girls? Boys or non-boys? Oh, and the believers and the non-believers. Who want the fearlessness? Hey, believers or non-believers? Sanjukta? Everybody, meaning believers, non-believers, both. Rich, poor, who wants the fearlessness? Both, everyone. So the point is that what the Buddha is teaching is not a doctrine, it's not a dogma, is teaching us how to attain fearlessness, which everybody craves to attain. One. Number two is the expansive happiness. How many were happy with the morning breakfast? Raise hands. Oh, good. So this happiness, if somebody multiplies 10 times, would you be happy or not happy? Then somebody is not happy. If your happiness multiplied 10 times. No breakfast. I do not say breakfast. Happiness that you get out of having this nice breakfast today, multiplied by 10 times. Not breakfast. That's the happiness that you get. You like it? Good. So then what is the target? 10%, 20% of happiness? What's the target? Infinite. Okay, so some of you may say, what is this? All these people saying infinite. But who has this? Right? So it's not about whether or not it's possible. Whether or not it's possible is a different question. First, if it does exist, who likes to have it? Okay, boys, girls, or boys, non-boys? Girls, non-girls? Everyone. Believers, non-believers, everyone. So now, this is the reality. With this reality, knowing this reality in mind, the first one, what's the first one? Fearlessness. Fearlessness and the infinite happiness, these two are slightly different. Where there is infinite happiness, you have the total fearlessness. Where there's the fearlessness, it doesn't entail infinite happiness. This is the difference. And of course, in the course of this 1 week, we have to learn the distinction between these two things. Okay, so now the fearlessness that which we all are seeking, the fearlessness, in technical terms, technically it is referred to as nirvana. You're getting it? Nirvana, nirvana is a Buddhist the thing. No, it simply means fearlessness. So when you teach, when you want to share your learning with other people, don't start with nirvana, Buddhahood. You're getting it? So just say fearlessness and infinite happiness. This is a secular vocabulary. Conveying these very important messages in secular context. Say fearlessness and infinite happiness. And the infinite happiness that everybody is seeking, technically is referred to as Buddhahood. When you feel awakened, Buddha meaning awakened one. When you feel awakened, then your happiness expands infinitely. So this is the idea. So with this, because of the ignorance, the karmas to throw you into samsara is created. Because the ignorance, karma is created. Because of karma, the consciousness which holds this, the contaminated karmas arise. Because of this consciousness, the name and form, your body and mind, contaminated name and form in samsara come into existence. So from this, what we're learning is that, and then the Buddha further added that when the ignorance stops, how does the ignorance stop? By introducing the wisdom. So with the wisdom, ignorance stops. With the ignorance stopping, then the contaminated karma stop, because of which the contaminated consciousness also stops, because of which name and form stops. All the miseries, cycle of miseries stop. So the Buddha taught transcending sorrow is absolute peace. So it's not that everything is misery. Buddha did not say that everything is misery. Buddha did not say everything is suffering. Only contaminated things are suffering, and this the fourth line which the Buddha taught, that everything, that the transcending sorrow is absolute peace. So the Buddha taught absolute peace. So these are things that we need to remember. So having said this, again to summarize what we said thus far, is that the Buddha taught, whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma, whosoever sees the dharma will see the Buddha. Because this exists, that exists. Because this is produced, that is produced. Because this exists, that exists. It teaches which of the three conditions? The unwavering condition. Because this is produced, that is produced. That teaches what? The condition of impermanence. And then finally, because of ignorance, contaminated karmas are created. Don't expect uncontaminated karmas created because of the ignorance. This teaches what? The condition of potentiality. Ignorance has the potential the ignorance has is to create the the contaminated karmas, not uncontaminated karmas. If you want to create uncontaminated karmas, you have to have the wisdom as the preceding cause. So this is what we need to remember. So having said this, now things become a little easier for us, that the Buddha taught what is known as the four seals. So the four seals offers Four Noble Truths. I'm going to touch the four seals. So now it becomes very easy for us. Four seals. And four lines of teachings. And these are referred to as the four seals of the Buddha's teachings. So why these four teachings are known as the seals? Number one. Number two, we need to know the meanings of each of these lines. Number three, we need to know the links, how the second one is linked with the first, how the third one is linked with the second, and how the fourth one is linked with the third. So the four seals. And the four seals, what are the four seals? All composite things impermanent. Number two, all contaminated things are nature of suffering. Number three, all phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Number four, transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Okay, these four lines, and these four lines are known as the four seals. Why seal? Why these four are referred to as the seals? Mudra seals. For example, say if a government seals a building, what does it mean? Anna, what does it mean by that? When the government seals government, the government doesn't seal government seals a building.
Makes it official.
Huh?
Makes it official.
Okay, which means Anna's never seen the government sealing a building.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Anyone, what does it mean by government sealing a building? Anyone? Yes, over there.
You can't come in.
Huh?
You can't come in.
You cannot, right? You cannot touch the building. You cannot get into the building, right? Keep the building as it is. Nobody's allowed to touch it. So this is a metaphor. These four teachings are known as the four seals. Doesn't mean that nobody can touch these four teachings. It simply means that just as when the building is sealed, by the government, that there's a rule that is fixed, that inside the building, you cannot come out. Outside the building, you cannot get in. Likewise, anybody who wants to get away from miseries, anybody who wants to experience fearlessness, get away from the miseries of sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, and some young people, not only young, now everybody, right, after gadgets, holding the gadgets for like 3 hours, meant for 10 minutes, then it gets extended to 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And at the end of the 5 hours, you feel so tired, no energy left, right? And at the end of the day, you regret, right? So how to get away, how to undo the gadget, the addiction, right? So these are the issues. And you know that this is useless, but then somehow you glued. So how to undo that? This is a form of misery. So the point is that all these miseries, how we can bring in these miseries, they are so terrible. And one moment of such miseries in our life, I'm sure that each one of us, we have our own stories to share. One moment of such misery is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of merriments, festivities, birthday parties, and so forth. One moment of such misery is good enough. For example, the loss of the near and dear ones. Just one moment is good enough. How many agree with me, raise hands? Yes, it makes you feel that all your past wonderful moments, they are so meaningless, grim, shallow, hollow. You could feel that when you go through such a traumatic experience, tragedy of losing a near and dear ones. I remember somebody who was already in his late 40s. He was my friend. And he was already in his 40s, and he lost his mother. in his 40s. And then he looked so lost, disoriented. And I asked him, when we sat down, then we were talking, sharing. He said that, now I don't know what I'm doing. Just for the sake of this body, they say that this body is still with me, so therefore I have to operate. I don't know what I'm doing. I said, what happened? And the person said that, I lost my mother. And I was so close to the mother that the mother who was so alive, so close, so dear to me, and this mother, the ailing mother, in his own arms, breathed the last. Then he saw the cremation, and he saw that the mother who was so alive became lifeless, and then became a dust, a heap of dust. So later he told me that literally, when he sees people walking, it's like a bunch of dust walking, because of the deeply ingrained sadness of the loss of the mother. For him, nothing really enticed him. Nothing enticed him. Everything so shallow, hopeless, meaningless, stupidity, and the self-deception. All what we see as fun and beautiful and so forth, this is all what he was seeing as very stupid and self-deception, wasting your time and so forth. Nothing makes sense. This is what he said. And that's very true. Well, all of us, maybe some of the young ones, you may not have this experience yet, but most of, like my age, most of us, we have our experience. We have lost someone who's so dear to you. And in some cases, that these tragedies happen just back to back. Within 2-3 years. Somebody said in 3 years, the person lost 13 family members. This has happened, extremely sad. So when you think of these, then I have to get away from these miseries. I have to get away from these miseries. Take birth, again these will repeat. Take birth, again this will repeat. So what you do, I just put a full stop, period, this problem, that no problems, all the problems resolved completely. So this is a wise approach. If this is who you are, want to put an end to all the miseries altogether completely, if this is what you are, you have to practice the 4 seals. There's no other way. Whereas if you're happy in samsara, no need to practice these 4 seals. You can get into the house. And the police will arrest you, problems, right? So whereas if you see that, if you're scared that, oh, samsara is terrible, and there's nothing good in it, it's like the flowers under the burning, cauldron, just a superficial flower there. If this is what you see, then these 4 practices have to be done. Whether you are believer, non-believer, male, non-male, female, non-female, it doesn't matter. Everybody has to practice these 4 things if you want to get away from miseries completely. Okay. So therefore, it is like, metaphorically, it is referred to as the seals, the 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. So the first seal says, all composite things impermanent. So that the Buddha identified ignorance as the root of all the problems. And ignorance, there's so many layers of ignorance there. So many layers of ignorance are there. Okay, how many of you, when you hear a language, spoken language of another country or another group, it sounds so funny, resents? It resents? That sound is so funny. The language it's very funny, right? Okay. And then Reasons those who no, everybody has a language. Reasons? What's funny about it? Reasons? Okay. Either you have realized emptiness, or you have not encountered with another language, which to you can be very funny. You have not encountered with that. Once encountered with this, then you will sometimes, so people with your own, with a common language, you communicate with them, and this language is so funny, right? And then you laugh. You start laughing, and you will mimic them. In fact, when I was a little boy in school, Pamela, my senior, say that when I hear the English, because we were taught English since childhood, it's okay. Whereas some other languages, it's as though like it's not language. This little boy, it's not language. Language is what I'm speaking. When I say nga dogeyin, it makes total sense. It flows. This flower is so beautiful. The flower is so beautiful. Wow, it's perfect. The flower is beautiful. It's just you are forcing yourself. The language and the meaning you are forcing. Language means the Tibetan language. So this is because of the belief that Tibetan language has intrinsically the language which refers to the specific meanings. This is our own ignorance. This is my ignorance. And later on, when I was in my 20s, when I was in South India, and the South Indian guys, to their ears, Tibetan language is a very funny language. Right? They were trying to imitate me in a very funny way. Right? They were so happy to mimic what I was saying, and I started to feel very irritated. How come that, how come that you don't understand the language? Right? You are trying to denigrate the language. Your language is not a language. Your language is like, very funny language. Mine is a real language, and you feel it funny. Then I started to experientially understand that, okay, this is the mistake, this is my ignorance when I was a little boy. Now I see this ignorance being replicated in somebody else. So we're all sharing the same ignorance. You're getting it? This ignorance. So the Buddha indicated that ignorance is the cause of the miseries. And this amazing discovery is the Buddha's discovery. It's amazing. So, say the birds of same feather flock together, which means that, my language, my this, which you share, you see that this is the only thing. This is intrinsic the reality. All others are just not real. So therefore the chosen people come into existence. Some are chosen people, right? For the Tibetans are the chosen people. Non-Tibetans are not. We are not the people. Right, and for every country, the ethnicity, they think that they are the chosen ones. This is pure ignorance. This is our ignorance. Because of this, then the fights happen. You agree? We are the chosen one. You are not the chosen one. Then others will say, "Oh yes, you are right. You are the chosen one. We are not the chosen one." Who will say this? Then they will fight with you. So because of the concept of chosen one, then fights happen. And the fights nobody likes. Right? So these concepts create no problem. Because of ignorance. If somebody is chosen, everybody is chosen. Everybody is Buddha nature. If you are not chosen, I'm also not chosen. Because you are not chosen because you have limitations. I also have limitations. We all have limitations. So if one is chosen, everybody is chosen. If one is not chosen, everybody is non-chosen. So this is purely these concepts, they come into being from ignorance. So ignorance is root of the problem. And ignorance, how many layers of ignorance are there? There are so many layers of ignorance. You're getting it? And ignorance can create so much of tension in us. Yes? How many of you, when you're in the school days, sitting for the exams, final exams, so much tension is there? How many of you had that experience? Raise hands. Why tension? So what's the problem? Why you are not so confident that you will not do well? Because you are not confident that you know everything. Not knowing everything is ignorance. Yes? So in school, small children, they suffer anxiety, stress and so forth. And then many of them, they commit suicide. Why? Because they could not score as much as they wish. Why they could not score? Because of some topics which they did not know. Some questions which could not answer. There's ignorance. So ignorance from the small scale to the small children, how they create tension in us. Particularly, say in India, children, they graduate class 12, my mobile. Somebody who graduated from class 12, is going through the transition. My mobile, when I'm doing my prayers, and my mobile rings, and I check who is it. If it is a class 12, just the freshly graduating class 12, enjoying, I just pick up. No matter what I'm doing, I pick up. And others into college, universities, jobs. When I'm my practice, if I see that it's somebody elders, I don't pick up. Class 12 transition, I pick up. You know why? They are going through the worst of the trauma, the transition period. They don't know. They're just coming out of the cocoon to the outside world, and totally apprehensive of what the world is going to be like. No clue. And they need support. They need help. So just I pick up. Even if I'm in the middle of a conference meetings, I pick up to give the assurance that don't worry, I'm there. Okay. So therefore, the point is that what I'm saying is that why they're in this apprehension? Because they're ignorant of what's happening around the world. What happened to me? You cannot predict. So lack of ability to predict something, that's also ignorance. Ignorance, there are so many kinds. And ignorance on the global level, ignorance in the leaders can create so much chaos in the citizens, so much of pains, unnecessary pains in the citizens. Just imagine if all the leaders are like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all the wars will stop. And all these trillions of dollars will go into the humanitarian works, not after the missiles. Everybody will hold hands of each other. Nobody will push each other. Again, why then pushing happens? Because of ignorance. So ignorance is the root of all the miseries. This is reality. So, given that the ignorance is the root everywhere, just believe it or not, tell me, any situation where there's a problem, ignorance is not the root. Just tell me something. No, you will not find anything. So the point is that, given that the ignorance is the root of all the miseries, Buddha identified 4 levels of ignorance. There are millions and trillions of the kinds of ignorance. But the Buddha identified 4. The first one is viewing, misperceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. Misperceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. Misperceiving miseries as happiness. Misperceiving impure things as pure. Misperceiving what is selfless nature as of selfhood. Let me repeat it. Misperceiving or ignorance, misperceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. Ignorance which misperceives miseries as happiness. And ignorance which misperceives impure as pure. And ignorance which misperceives selfless nature as of selfhood. Just relate, let us see that how these are actually operating within us, these four kinds of ignorance, and thereby creating misery, stress in us. For example, impermanence. Ignorance which perceives impermanent thing as permanent. For example, like if you get a new mobile, a birthday present, new mobile, and they say new mobile somehow, somebody says, oh, show me your mobile, and the person mishandles the mobile and it drops, what happens? It's just sort of your heart drops, right? And you have a new car, and somebody scratches on the car, it's like your heart scratches. You could feel it? Yes? Be very honest, raise hands. That's very true. Yes. Okay. Okay, Brahmanaji. Yes, it happened? Yes. So, this is because although we say that it's impermanent, but deep inside, we are feeling that it should be permanent. So when viewing impermanent phenomena as permanent, when something goes wrong, when it displaces impermanent nature, instantly you are shocked, you cannot accept it. This is pain, and then you fight, right? You fight. Your brother takes a mobile and it slips from his hand, it breaks, then you shout, you fight. Oh. Then the ignorance which perceives the what? Misery is as happiness. Right? Misery is as happiness. Okay, that we all know. Right? So oftentimes, relationships. What is a relationship? To make the life easier, more beautiful. Actually, oftentimes, we are going to the tiger's den. Yeah, that's reality. That's reality. Yeah, that's reality. So outside, hand holding outside, and inside, throw the hands, right? Who's going to cook? Yesterday I did it, right? And today you have to do it. No, this morning I did it. No, you don't do it. I did it, right? So, and then not all. Some are very decent. Some are anyway, this is not my business. Right? So when you go into den, it's your problem. So going to den is not good. You think that is a flower there? We're actually going to the den, seeing miseries as happiness. And then actually when you go there, and there's a problem. Okay, so this is a big problem. It's a big, huge problem. Huge problem. All right? And so, okay, I think it was like when I was in my 30s. One day, my morning practice, and the morning practice is water based, then I was offering the incense to the Buddha Bodhisattvas and my scriptures. I could feel so much of freedom. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I read the book, Eric Kandel's book, Professor Eric Kandel, who was Nobel laureate. Nobel laureate means your eyes glow. Nobel laureate in physiology. And I read his book. He's read his book, In Search of Memory. In Search of Memory. His very famous book. It's an amazing book. He's Nobel laureate in physiology. So in it, he describes how, he explains so beautifully how he was entering into the den of the tiger. He explained it so well. Right? So what I'm saying is that yes, this is very true. Say the misconceiving, ignorance misconceiving miseries as happiness. People live in the illusion. Believe the illusion. And some people, I know, my friends, they have so much a problem in their family. There's so much a problem in the family. Fights between husband and wife, fights between children and the parents, and so forth. And then somebody's there who's becoming a nun, saying, oh, why you have to experience life is beautiful, why becoming a nun? Do you really mean it? Is it really fun? First, look inside your own house. See what's the situation. And if your house is so beautiful, right, then tell others. In other words, you are trying to drag somebody, somebody's enjoying, actually making them be dragged in your miseries. And it's terribly, you cannot really handle the situation there. I know some of my friends. It's terribly beyond your control. You can't manage at all. And one moment, just wake up and see the face of the other person, there is disturbance in your mind. And when you go out, you talk to somebody else, oh, it's like so beautiful. So these are all the illusions. These are all the illusions. But it doesn't mean that all the couples, they are going through this. This is not true. Their relation is so beautiful. In fact, way, way, way more beautiful than two brothers, two sisters, or whatever. They're really into dharma, and dharma. It's amazing. Very rare. 1 out of 10,000. Yeah, this is reality. To be very honest. Yeah. Okay. So this misconceiving the miseries as happiness. And then finally, misconceiving impure things as pure, right? Misconceiving impure things as pure. This is very funny. Say, everything that you're connected with, they are very pure. Anything that is touched by others, they are impure. How many got this feeling? Be very honest. Particularly when you go to the, so-called 5-star hotel, right? I'm so nice, so clean, so pure. And you go to the buffet, and, somebody took a juice or butter or whatever, took that and could not take it. It's still very fresh, but then you cannot even touch it. It's very dirty. And yours one, you can keep it there. You eat it half and keep it still there, and you can eat it back. It's not a problem. But somebody else just touch it, it's very dirty. This is illusion. It's all illusion. Otherwise, what's something good about yourself? Right? If you don't take a shower for even 1 day, the body stinks. And you have to add the extra perfume. This perfume is not real, it's not your perfume. All right? Your perfume is very different. To hide this perfume, you are adding the external perfume. Yeah, this is very true. Impure things as pure. This illusion. And on that basis, then there's a sense of superiority that I am, look at this, very shabby, stinking. Actually, it's the same thing. We are same. Our ancestors just the same. Ancestors just the same. Ancestors stinking, we are also stinking. But we live in the illusion. And this illusion is not doing anything good. So these are the misperceptions. And as long as we don't try to get rid of these misperceptions, and we say the misperception happening where? Outside or within us? They are within us. And when we blame outside, outside. You broke my mobile. You created a scratch on my car. So, external. And then they say, when we are first together, you are not like this. You are not like this first, right? First, say, I with the medicine, you run to the pharmacy to get the medicine, right? So I was thirsty, you'll run to the shop to get, some juice and so on. And now you are asking me to run for you, right? So again, we see that this is because of ignorance. And then impure things as pure, and then that it's just air. This, how many of you felt that? Say, this is, we have to know this. You go to say the place we call as the, what is that? The high level places, like Five-Star Hotel, or the government officials, high-level government officials. We go these places, people, they more the higher, there's a put in the air, they're inflated. There's some inflation there, as they don't see anybody else. You could feel the air. Very ugly air, you could feel it. Very undesirable air. Say in the 5-star hotel, you go, that people, as though like you are not non-existent. You know? This is what they feel them so special. And believe it or not, it's not that these people are wrong. You are in the same category. When you are in that place, you will behave in the same way. As long as we don't identify the ignorance as a cause of miseries, as long as we don't identify self-centered attitude as a cause of miseries. If we don't identify these two things, we will behave in the same way. We'll behave in the same way. We'll be just inflated with sense of, say, the arrogance there, very subtle arrogance there, which anybody comes close by, these people, they will feel uncomfortable to be with you. So this is what is bound to happen. And in a way, you are imprisoning yourself. You're imprisoning yourself. This is what Albert Einstein said, that the greatest of the illusion that we live in is the illusion of your mind. Your mind creating a division, split between others and you. This is illusion. This imprisons yourself because that they and I, they are impure. We are very pure, very special. You are not, you're ordinary, I'm special. Right? So with this, then what happens? You cannot go to this side because these people, they don't accept you. And you cannot go this side because you see them as inferior, I'm superior. So they don't want to include you. So in a way, you are imprisoned. This is what the Albert Einstein said. And then he said, what's the solution to this problem? The solution to this problem is to expand the circle of compassion. This is amazing. Albert Einstein said it. Okay, so with this in mind, the 4 levels of ignorance, when you identify them so well, your life will be way more easier, way more easy. Your life will be very easy and will be very beautiful. And the prison, you will see that the prison is broken. You're free. So we are imprisoned by these 4 misconceptions. So how to get rid of these, the levels of ignorance? So for that, now say the Dharma practice. Dharma practice, never ever think of forcing yourself to Dharma practice. Never ever think of forcing yourself to do Dharma practice. Let it happen organically. Let it happen in the spirit of joy. How? How? By knowing the cause and effect so well. This problem is because of this ignorance. And this ignorance I can get rid of by introducing this particular wisdom. So you introduce wisdom, automatically ignorance will go away. Your miseries calm down. You become more compassionate person. You become more contented person without forcing yourself. Without forcing yourself into Dharma. Say, there's a concept of what is known as the Buddha fearing, God fearing, and so forth. You fear somebody. No, this is not good. This is not a good concept. But I don't mean to say that, I don't mean to demean other religions. The thing is that when this is there, the fear over somebody, the fear means that you're doing it out of the fear, not out of joy. In fact, all this Dharma practice should happen in the spirit of joy. It must happen organically out of joy. So how will that happen? When there's no exertion happens, and yet your mind becomes happier, happier, happier. That's real Dharma practice. So how to make it happen? Only if you know, only if you have the wisdom to know how these miseries come into existence, the mechanism by which the miseries arise, the mechanism by which the happiness can arise. Then you try to follow the steps, things will organically happen, things will so beautifully unfold that your miseries will stop and your happiness expands. Okay, so how to get away from the first level of ignorance, misconceiving impermanent phenomena is permanent, is knowing the first seal, that all composite things are impermanent. And impermanent, this is so important for us. I personally would say that the more I meet with people, and I see that some people, they are very strong, stable, and some people, they are so hyper, then easily affected by small, small things from outside. So what I tell them, particularly when I see somebody who can easily be affected by small, small things. So what I tell them is that, okay, on a daily basis, if possible, you can contemplate on these four seals, all composite things impermanent, not just something, not just your thing, but all composite, everywhere in the universe, all composite things impermanent. Then all contaminated things are some, because why I'm saying this, that I'm sure that some of you have experienced that. I've seen that with my own eyes. Some people, when they meet with the tragedy of losing near and dear ones, they can really become hysterical. They can go insane. Then they don't live too long after that, because their mind is shocked. They're shocked because they don't contemplate in the normal life. They do not really think about all composite things impermanent, all contaminated things of suffering nature. Only when you reflect on these on a daily basis, when you actually meet with these realities, your mind will not shock. So you can continue to persevere in your journey to remove the mental defilements, to unravel your hidden treasure within us. The purpose of life will be drawn out of this reflection. So with this in mind, the contemplating on impermanent reality, all composite things, the impermanent, this is so important. And the impermanence, there are two levels, gross and the subtle. Gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Gross impermanence meaning impermanent phenomena whose continuum stops. For example, 2023. 2023, of course, it stopped. It stopped. We don't have to stop it. It stopped. And then our youth stopped. So who's young now? Huh? Almost each one of us, we think that we are young. Right? We're young. Yes. Okay. So, as I say, our youth is also impermanent. Impermanent, which qualifies the gross impermanence, meaning that our youth invariably stops with the old age. We need to think of these. When I was 12 years old, I discovered the age of one of my schoolmates. He was 16. I was literally shocked. You're old. You're old at 16. You're old. Then I became 16. Then I discovered the age of one of the school teachers, who was 33. I couldn't really breathe. You're going to die, 33 years old. Now, you also once upon a time, you were in school like me. And you finish the school, then you become a school teacher, 33, now on the verge to die. I will also become one like you, right? Very disturbing, very traumatizing. Then I was in my 30s. I was in Cambridge. And just 2 days ago, 2 days before my arrival, one of the professors who was one of the hosts for inviting me there, he celebrated his 50th birthday. And he so proudly told me that I celebrated my 50th birthday 2 days ago. And I said, what is there to celebrate? Half a century gone. If somebody comes to celebrate, I was in my 30s, if somebody comes to say this, oh, happy birthday, 50th birthday, it was very embarrassing. It was telling me that you're going to die now, 50 years, half a century gone. Deep inside me, I felt that, what is there to celebrate? No, I would rather feel pity, right? And then I was in my 40s. And a vice chancellor of a university invited me for a lunch. And when I showed up, the vice chancellor he also invited another professor, very senior professor. And that professor happened to have met with my predecessor, the previous director of Tibet House. And the vice chancellor must have been introduced to the professor that I'm also inviting the new director of Tibet House. And I showed up, already in my 40s. And this professor, very old lady, she just scanned my body like this, right? And said, young director. And she said 3 times. And suddenly she got a feeling the young director means, another connotation is inexperienced director, right? And she corrected, oh, I mean young in age. You're getting it? So it's all illusion. It's all illusion. So what I'm saying is that then when I hit 50, that was a little shocking to me. When I hit 50, something inside happened. Oh, right? Oh, okay. So those 50 plus, how many of you had that experience? The moment you hit 50, you felt, oh, resents? Something of this kind happened? Okay. For some, it did not happen. It's fine. So what I'm saying is that this is reality. All composite things are impermanent. And I remember His Holiness the Dalai Lama, many years ago, almost like, I think, 35 years ago, His Holiness was giving a public teaching in South India, in Debung Monastery. And there was a young Rinpoche, now he must be in his 40s. Very young, meaning he must be age 7. He was newly identified as the reincarnate Lama. And when he was giving teaching, and then is on Lamrim teaching, graded path to enlightenment. So the topic happened to be on impermanence. I was just 21. And then His Holiness said that, okay, even this teaching, what is happening today, even this is also impermanent. One day when this little boy, little Tulku, one day when he grows old, he will say, many years ago, once upon a time, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama was giving a teaching on Lamrim when I was a little boy. He will say this. This is all. You look at the profundity, the power of the reflection of impermanence which was actually going on in His Holiness's mind. That's amazing. So, this is what is bound to happen to each one of us. Today we see that this girl is the youngest, 19, 18 youngest, and one day she'll be, say, when you're 18, your time, say when you are teenager meaning when you are like age 8, 9, 10, your time crawls. When you're a teenager, like 17, 18, your time walks. When you're in your 20s, then your time hops. In your 30s, your time jumps. In 40, 50, your time flies. This is a reality. It's not just a joke, it's a reality. You'll feel that, right? So when I was a teenager, thinking of, I have another 10 years to go through to establish my life. 10 years, too long. I was thinking that I was worried about my father, who I loved so much, and I want to establish myself while he was still young. And 10 years, minimum 10 years. So by then he will be already in his 60s. That was my worry. There was a pain that I was going through. 10 years too long. Now, 10 years is nothing. Right? Do you see 10 years nothing or too very long? Be very honest. Very long. Right? Okay, 50 plus, what is 10 years? Very long? It's nothing. 10 is nothing. Time is relative. How you see this, according to how much time you spend in your life. Okay, so all composite things impermanent. Then all this impermanence, gross impermanence, is something that we need to reflect on. If you don't reflect on this impermanence, then when it actually hits us, you'll be traumatized. Then you'll panic, you'll be traumatized, and you can become paranoid. So therefore, it is so important for us to reflect on impermanence. And somebody, it is the Damdul, who said that in India, where she is more familiar with, these places, they truly remind her of impermanence. Where there's a shop here, in 1 year, it's gone, and a shop came, right? Constant change happening. Whereas in the West, particularly in her place, Czech Republic, so there's a shop there. This shop is there for years and years. Perhaps when you were young, when you were a teenager, 1 year is too long. And now you're no more teenager. 1 year is very short. Yeah. So yes, this what she said is very true. In fact, in Delhi. So why I'm saying, I'm not just killing your time. This is very important for us to reflect on. In Delhi, I say, my sense of direction is just terrible. My sense of direction is terrible. I lived in, they say, it was already like nine months, the place where the Tibet staff quarter is. And I was already there for 9 months. Still, I could easily get lost within the small territory. I get lost. In the evenings, if I come to a slightly different place, I get lost. Where's my house? I couldn't find it. So so I need the what do you call it? Huh? No. Landmarks. Who said it? Okay, thank you, Audrey. So I need landmarks. One of the landmarks was Samsonite bag shop. That when I go there, after about 5 minutes, then there's okay, now I'm in this place. Now, one day, I had to buy a bag, and I know that that's my landmark. Happened to be the bag shop, so I need a bag. So I'm there, and the bag shop disappeared. I could not find it, and in me, what feeling came to me? Deep feeling of, say, the vacuum came to me, impermanence. And I felt so happy. Why? I did not have to meditate on this. And this shop disappearing, that is a teaching for me. And that gives me the experience of the feeling of vacuum, so heavy feeling. And people leave the city, leave the household to go to Himalaya to meditate so that this experience is invoked. To invoke this experience, people leave everything to go to Himalaya to meditate. So gradually, expecting that this feeling comes, it doesn't come. But for us, with these external things, if you're being careful to utilize whatever situation arises into your Dharma practice, this will be extremely precious. So, all composite things impermanent. So this is on the level of gross impermanence. What is gross impermanence? Impermanent phenomena whose continuum stops. Now, there's another category of phenomena which does not qualify gross impermanence. Whose continuum never stops. Impermanent phenomena whose continuum never stops. For example, like your mind. Time. And let's say, for the time being, let's also say atoms. The particles, atoms, electrons, protons. They don't terminate. For example, the atoms which constitute the body, atoms which constitute the flower, the building, they existed 15 billion years ago. They all existed 15 billion years ago, and if at all, that is the beginning. But physicists, they have the debate among themselves whether or not that is the beginning or there's a previous, the more Big Bangs before that, multiple Big Bangs. So the point is the minimum atoms which constitute the world today existed since billion years ago, 15 billion years ago. So, in a way, and the continuum of these elements, they don't terminate. And our mind never terminates. Our mind. It is impermanent. Time is impermanent, but they don't terminate. So, impermanent phenomena, one whose continuum stops, one whose continuum does not stop. One whose continuum stops is known as the gross impermanent phenomena. Gross impermanent phenomena. And now there is, so say, it doesn't mean that those whose continuum does not stop, doesn't mean that they are subtly impermanent. No. Subtle impermanence is a quality of impermanence which underscores all impermanent phenomena. Subtle impermanence is a quality of all impermanent phenomena across the board of impermanent phenomena. Even the gross impermanence, it underscores the subtle impermanence. For example, like, say, the 2023. It's 1 year long. It stopped. Its continuum stopped. But 2023, although it lasted for 1 year, but every day it is changing. Every day the length of 2023 becomes shorter, 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 shorter. The 31st of December. 31st of December, only December 2023, on 31st of December, is only 1 day. It's not 365 days. It's only 1 day. Because that day, at the next moment, it disappears. So, underscoring all the gross impermanence is the subtle impermanence. So, after reflecting on the gross impermanence, then we also need to reflect on the subtle impermanence. Very important. And meditate on subtle impermanence. Yes, we have to do it. If you don't do it, if you, for say, the study that we're doing is the most sophisticated topic, emptiness. Emptiness, and in the monastic universities, for example, like Geshe here, and then here, you're from which? Sarvasthapya, okay. From Serache. So we see that they study for years and years and years on emptiness. So we the topic that we have selected for this retreat is a very sophisticated topic. But we are not to neglect meditating on the impermanence, including the gross impermanence. The meditation gross impermanence followed by meditating on the subtle impermanence will leave a tremendous impact in the life. It's extremely important. What is subtle impermanence? Momentariness of the impermanent phenomena is known as the subtle impermanence. Don't say that this flower is subtle. It is subtle impermanent. Don't say that. It involves subtle impermanence. It underscores subtle impermanence. Subtle impermanence is a quality of this. For example, like say, I'm not a hand, but I have hands. Likewise, this flower is not subtle impermanent. It has subtle impermanence. So this distinction must be made. This flower lasts for, let's say, 5 days. 5 days. It's very gross. But the subtle impermanence is something which we cannot see yet, only through analysis, contemplation, and gradually it'll come to a mind. When it does come to a mind, then it can give a tremendous impact in the inner mind. Like what? Okay, say the Buddha indicated that of all the footprints, the footprint of the elephant is the supreme. Let me repeat it. Of all the footprints, the footprint of the elephant is the supreme. And of all the meditations, meditation of impermanence is supreme. Okay, is there anybody who likes to share with us what do you think is the reason why the Buddha taught that of all the meditations, meditation on impermanence is supreme? Okay, Anna?
It creates a sense of urgency to fuel us to do all the other practices.
So it creates a sense of urgency. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Like I feel it creates dissatisfaction with impermanent phenomena, like renunciation.
It gives
If you-
rise to a sense of renunciation.
Yes.
What do you mean by renunciation?
You are not satisfied with things that don't last.
Okay, which last is fine.
Yeah, which
Like your mind, time. Because impermanent phenomena does not entail that it should not last. Impermanent phenomena, there are everlasting impermanent phenomena also, time, your mind.
yeah, I mean with lasting happiness, with mundane happiness.
Okay, so what I'm saying is impermanence, it is not only confined to the mundane happiness. All composite phenomena, which includes uncontaminated impermanent phenomena also. So what's the problem with this? Why? By meditating on impermanence, both mundane and supramundane. So why this meditation is considered very important? Why? Anyone? Anyone?
Yeah, to understand the religion.
Yes, there. Yes, here. The girl here. Yes. Here.
To understand everything, change it.
Not everything changes because only composite phenomena changes. Non-composite phenomena, they don't change. Because the Buddha felt only composite phenomena is impermanent. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, over there.
Because you awaken from the illusion.
Okay, from the first level of illusion. Not all the illusion.
Yes.
Right? Okay, that's good. And in fact, what's your name? The lady here, the girl here? Huh? Valerie.
Vlada. My name Vlada.
Lada.
Uh-huh.
Not Valerie.
No. It's also changed name.
It doesn't matter. Okay, Vada.
Vlada, yes. Like Vada? Vlada. Yes, it's more easy.
Vlada.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What Vlada said, this is something that lucky that we have many seniors in terms of the knowledge. So what Vlada said is that everything is impermanent. And how did I correct her? I said, not everything is impermanent, only the composite phenomena are impermanent, not the non-composite phenomena. Non-composite phenomena, they are not impermanent, they are permanent. Your question is, what is composite, non-composite phenomena? This is your question. And how is non-composite phenomena permanent? This is your question. So there are many seniors here. Please feel free to bring them up and ask them. This very important question. Okay, over there. If possible, identify, please, say your name. Kemal, arre.
Tashidera Geshe, my name is Suzanne. I think the meditation on impermanence is very important because it helps us to reduce our sense of attachment to things and
Okay.
to people.
That's good, but did you know my question?
Your question was asking why is the meditation on impermanence supreme?
Yes, which means the meditation of emptiness is there. Meditation is extremely effective in cutting down our attachment. But the Buddha did not say that meditation of emptiness is supreme. Why not? Your responses are so precious. Whatever. Correct? We are not expecting all correct answers. The thing is that we need to do two things. One, to gather information, gather new information. Number two, to sharpen our intelligence. You getting it? Even if you have, say, the most updated softwares. Hey, I think the lady here, you are from IT? No, IT. Architect. Okay. So what I'm saying is that even if you have the most sophisticated the software, but if your hardware is 50 years old, software is totally irrelevant. Yes? Okay, those from IT background raise hands. Say yes. Hey, Ilango, tell me. You agree, not agree? How you agree? Because many people who have no idea about the IT, they will say, why? What's the problem? You know? And you will say, there's a problem. What's the problem? Louder.
New softwares need better hardware.
Speaker.
The new software will need a higher specification hardware, so you can't even install it on the old hardware.
So why we cannot install it?
Because it is not compatible.
These two are not compatible, right? You should have the hardware which equally works effectively as how these softwares are effective. So likewise, very sophisticated concepts are coming. Your mind should also be sophisticated to register these sophisticated thoughts. So therefore, our job is to take this opportunity for us to sharpen our intelligence, to build the hardware to make it more sophisticated, so that the sophisticated concepts, when come to you, you'll be able to register these concepts. This is very important. So therefore, don't restrain yourself from giving answers. Please feel free to give answers. Okay. So let me go back to why this meditation on impermanence is what the Buddha identified as the supreme of all the meditations. They said that if there's a snake somewhere there on the door threshold there, and then what would be my response? I would jump, or what do I say? I would say, Tenzing Sela, would you please remove this snake? I'm scared of the snake. Right? You agree? And if the snake is right here, will I say, hey, Tenzing Sela, there's a snake here. Please remove this. Will I say this? Hey, you have no clue. What happened? In fact, there is, they say, so here, this retreat participants, you are like this young boy who was taken by his uncle, and the uncle pointed to a cow. Cow was passing by and said that the milk that you're drinking every day, it comes from this cow. And the boy said no. Very confident, the boy said no. I said, yes, it's coming from this cow. The boy said no. And the uncle said, if not, then where is it coming from? He said it's coming from the bottle. Because he's always seeing the bottle, which the mother is bringing from the shop. He never saw that it's coming from the cow. You getting it? So therefore for you, it's like the small boy who never saw the village, how the villages, they operate. The snakes, you only see in the Google snakes. You're getting it? So if the snake is nearby you, you'll not say that, hey, Tenzing Sela is sitting here. You will jump. Right? You will jump. So why you jump now? Why did you not jump before? Hey, Naimi, why you jump now? Why don't you jump when you see the snake there at the door side? Why, Naimi?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, Naimi from psychology background, so she will. The question is that if the snake is nearby you, you will jump. You will not ask Tenzing Sela, please come, there's the snake here. Whereas if it's far away, you will not jump. You will ask Tenzing Sela, oh, there's a snake there, I'm afraid of snake, please remove the snake. Why do I jump when the snake is nearby? Why?
Could be a sense of urgency.
Exactly. So this is what Anna said. Yes, Anna? Anna said that meditation impermanence will give a sense of urgency. When you have a sense of urgency, and then as the Nicola said, and as the Naima, what Naima said, that we get a sense of urgency. Sense of urgency that I have no time to lose. I have to practice the Dharma effectively to remove the mental defilements as quickly as possible so that I experience a fearlessness, which is total freedom and infinite happiness. So this is why meditation impermanence is very important. So what is next? All contaminated things are suffering nature. The second line. All contaminated things are suffering nature. First one is all composite things are impermanent. Composite meaning things which are composed of material particles and which are composed of temporal parts. Temporal parts and material parts. What is meant by temporal parts? Parts in time. Parts in time. For example, let's say today. Today is made of 24 hours. 24 hours. So there are 24 temporal segments. First hour time, second hour time, third hour time, and so forth. So these are the temporal segments. So things which are composed of material parts like electrons, protons, neutrons, so forth, or things which are made of temporal parts like time, parts in time. So these are known as composite phenomena, and there's another class of phenomena which is known as non-composite phenomena. Non-composite phenomena which are not made of temporal parts or which are not made of material parts. Okay, so if you want to know more about this, feel free to discuss, and if you do get more time, I'll be happy to address these. Otherwise, there are many seniors here. They'll help you. Okay. The next is all contaminated things are suffering nature. All contaminated. So, but what you see is that from the first line, all the composite phenomena, all composite things are impermanent. So impermanence, there are the two kinds, the gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Okay, let's remember this. What the Buddha taught is that whatever is accumulated exhausts, ends in exhaustion. Whatever gathers ends in separation. And whatever is born dies, ends in death. This is what the Buddha taught. So it's all about the impermanence. And we reflect on this. It's very powerful. These are the Buddha's own words. You think, even the words, they give you a sense of urgency there. Okay. So with this impermanence, that all composite phenomena underscores the subtle impermanence, which means that all composite phenomena should necessarily go through very subtle impermanence. Okay. Look at this pillar at the center. Look at this pillar. How many you see that this pillar is moving so fast, momentarily moving? How many you see? Look at this. Look at the pillar. How many you see this flower? This pillar moves so fast. Or no, it's so static. How does it appear to your mind? It's so static. This is how the sensory consciousnesses, they deceive us. They deceive us because we are being under the influence of the very strong belief in what is impermanent as permanent. So that influences our mind to see these things as so static and unchanging. In reality, even this pillar, which otherwise seems so static and stable, is also going through momentary change. Okay, let's say that we plant. Okay, say this. Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life, Chapter 9, Wisdom Chapter. In memory of our being together, we plant there's a tree outside. And the tree, no tree there, and we plant a sapling there. After 10 years, we come back. 2034. 2034, we all come back again with extra white hair. Right, we all come back. And then some of us may have disappeared from the planet Earth. We never know. Okay, we come back. And then we see that, and this girl, how old are you? 18, and then she becomes 28. Right? And then you just imagine, okay, you add 10 years to your age now. What is that like? You like it? You don't like it? You don't like it. Because if you are 29, if I say you look like 30, you'll be very upset. Just add 1 year, you feel so upset. 10 years is 10 times upset. You're getting it? And whereas if you are just the 30 and sometimes you look like 29, you are so happy, thank you. Right? You are so happy, you will say thank you. Right? What is this? 10 years will pass by. Very quick. And then at that point, we are already 10 years older than what we are today. And then we see this tree, 10 feet tall tree there, growing. Okay, Venerable Kumbhela, right? Venerable Kumbhela. This tree was non-existent when we were here last. Oh no, your group planted this tree. I see. Okay, I vaguely remember that we planted a tree there. So it has now shot up to 10 feet. And it's already 10 years. So which means, why you are shocked? Because that you are expecting no tree there, no tree, and suddenly impermanence. Right? No tree to big tree. That is a huge stark contrast there, which gives you a little bit of shock. Oh, there's a tree there. And then, no, don't be shocked. This tree you planted, and which means that every year this tree was growing 1 foot. How many agree with me? In 10 years, 10 feet tall. It's not that, okay, tomorrow completes 10 years, so I have to grow now. Then the tree pops up. Tomorrow everybody will come together. Right? No, every year it is growing the 1 foot. And the first year, 1 foot tall tree, again, every month it has been growing 1 inch. Every month is growing 1 inch. Not that, okay, it's slipping the last 11 months and 29 days. Oh, tomorrow completes, I have to do everything now. And then pop up 1 foot. No, every month is changing. Every month is growing 1 inch. Then every day is changing. Then every hour is changing. Every minute is changing. Every second is changing. So, every millisecond is changing. When you see is on the change on the hourly level, do you see that? If you keep looking at it, you will not see the change. Minute by minute, if you keep looking at it, again you will not see the change. Only if, for example, the clock is a huge clock, then you can see it's moving tick, 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 tick. Even the hour, the minute hand, you can see it moving. But if it's a small clock like this, you would not see the change happening minute by minute. Second by second, yes, you can see the tick, tick, tick. You can see the change. This is actually how this pillar is changing, how this tree, 10 feet tall tree is changing actually, second by second. And 1 second is not that it'll remain static and the completion of 1 second, then suddenly it changed. No. It's changing millisecond by millisecond. Millisecond by millisecond. And how fast is a millisecond? Your eyes cannot catch it. If 1 second is split into 100, if 1 second is split into 10, you can see it, but you can really register the numbers. Numbers move so fast, like you press your mobile timer. You press it, and you see the numbers are moving like this. We have to look at it. We must look at it, and this is how your body is changing. These trees changing, this pillar is changing. All composite phenomena, they are changing like this. And then you keep thinking about this, keep thinking like this reality. What I'm seeing is deception. It's not static. The reality is that it's changing like this. And if you really spend time contemplating on this, it's good. If say we can also sit for retreats, just meditating on impermanence and suffering, impermanent suffering. You can sit for retreat, 2-day retreat, 3-day retreat, 1 week retreat, and see. And believe it or not, if you get some sense of a subtle impermanence, the feeling is extremely scary. Extremely scary. And they say all whatever we are doing in our life, they will all seem so meaningless. They're all just move so fast. This is what we can see. So for that we have to spend time. We have to meditate. If possible, try to cut yourself. So therefore the retreats, what we talk about the retreats is more like study retreat, but people who sit for the solitary retreat, they cut off themselves from people. And they don't allow outside people to come in. You don't go out. You cut off yourselves so that your mind maintains the momentum of the meditation. It goes deeper, deeper, deeper. And then meditate impermanence. This impermanence, when you actually it hits your heart, impermanence, then you see there are all the other things on the basis of which we feel attached to, we feel averse to, all the litigation cases, all these full stop. They're all they're meaningless. And you see that whatever is, there's a deep feeling of the urgency will come to us. So for that I would say that if to sit on retreat, if you can do that, that would be very meaningful and helpful. And then meditation on emptiness of this text will be so valuable. I remember I was just, I think, 21 years old when my teacher, Venerable Rinpoche, he was in the mountains up there, the hills up there, and Chanjubla had the honor of having met and received teachings. Very fortunate. Anyone else who met Venerable Rinpoche? Oh, Rinpoche, you met. You were not born then. I was surprised. I know this girl so well. She was not even born. And she's saying she met. Huh? Okay. I said, Venerable Rinpoche. Yes. So only Chanjula. Very fortunate, very meritorious. Okay, and myself. Okay, so what I'm saying is that I sought his guidance, how to sit for retreat. He said, just meditate impermanence. I spent like 1 month on impermanence. It's very scary. In 1 week's time, in a way, I was very fortunate that these feelings just triggered pretty quickly because of the many external factors. It was winter in Dharamsala, winter, and it snowed like this. Snowed, terribly cold. And the house inside is little moist. And very cold. Then morning, I go out, and then the sun comes, and till the sun comes, everything's pin drop silent. There's a pin drop silence there. And then the sun comes, then the people start to I could hear the noise of the people. They come out in the sun, and then I go out. It's just sharing. You can also do that. I go out, and then it's so pleasant to be in the sun. Then I would tell hey Dorji, don't feel attached to the sun. This is impermanent. This will disappear. You are here not for bathing in the sun. You are here to meditate on impermanence. Go to your room and do meditation. Then I went in to the meditation. If you don't believe, come out in the night and then see. Then in the evening's night, I'll come out, again go back to total silence. Dark, cold, wet, gloomy. And then I told myself, Dorji, how true is what you said, what you said this morning, this sun will also disappear. That's very true, it disappeared. Now go back and continue meditation. Go back, meditate. Again the next morning, you just crave for the sun. You go out, it's so pleasant, everybody is just making noise, merriment is there. And then again, hey Dorji, don't feel attached. This sun also disappear. Even all this noise will also disappear. And you have come here, not for the sun, for meditation. Get into the meditation. Okay, then got in, meditate. So these are the circumstances. Extremely cold, and in the daytime the sun is beautiful, but then you get in, and then within a week's time, actually these experiences are not to be shared, but okay, it's fine. Then the fear started to come in me. The impermanence was so vibrant, so visible. The subtle impermanence. Even the walls, you see the walls? Even the walls, I was getting feeling that it's like moving vibration like this. So scary. I could not contain this. And then I interrupted my meditation to go to meet my teacher. As sought his permit, sought his advice further. Then just by seeing me, he said, Dorji, what happened to you? You should be meditating. You should not be coming here. Then I reported my situation, and he said, okay, so actually meditating impermanence should not give you a fear. Then he asked me, he was experienced meditator. So he asked me the various parameters of the time, symptoms, and so forth. Then he told me, when do you go to bed? I said, 11 o'clock. When do you get up? I said, 5 o'clock. He said, you are very young. Because you are so young, you need more sleep. So go to bed at 10 o'clock, get up at 5. At least sleep for 6 hours. This is what he said. And then he also asked me to, say for this fear, some treatments, he gave me a whole big chunk of butter, that you have to take some butter in the cold weather to avoid from these problems. So, and then the fear is increasing day by day, but the fear is very different. Not like the fear of the COVID. Fear of the COVID is that it's so scary, you wish you run, you get a feeling that this is another place to run to. But with this impermanence, then the fear is very different. That the feeling that you get is that, so like, wherever you go in the universe, where there's a composite phenomenon, impermanence will be there. This is reality. There's no point in running. If you really want to run, get hold of emptiness, get hold of wisdom of emptiness. This is the ultimate escape. This is the escape velocity. Go for the escape velocity of wisdom of emptiness, the escape from the samsara completely, and that is the ultimate freedom. And then I was thinking of the people who are my seniors who were studying the emptiness concept, very senior students. I just started to feel, I just get a sense of rejoicing that these senior monks, they get a chance to meditate on emptiness. I'm so I rejoice in them. I wish somebody teaches me emptiness right now. The feeling of urgency is so deep that I cannot sit like this. The fear is so deep. I have to escape from samsara completely. For this, meditation emptiness is required. I must meditate emptiness. So how fortunate those people are who come in contact with the wisdom of emptiness. So this was the kind of thing. And you practice this, try this, for sure. For some of you, it may be even more intense, the experience, than mine. Some of you may be same, some of you may be less. But the thing is, try. If you don't try, it'll never happen automatically. Okay. Okay, it's we overshot the time. Okay, we stop here.